Yo, 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 what's up, all you burner stones and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Fantastic.
I love it. Hey, all you vipers out there in the world, hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal. But before we do, Mrs. Weedman and I this week are going to cover some cannabis research, health, and science news. It's going to be rad. Some political news, international news, and end it with some cannabis culture by Mrs. Weedman. Now we're going to get normal with some government, M-I-N-T, Oasis, grown by Jim Berry, which was a part of the Midwest Terp-Off, Illinois versus Michigan. I'd like to thank Midwest Terps and Jim Berry for throwing to the cause. And we're smoking Government Mint. Is an evenly balanced hybrid strain, 50-50, created through crossing the potential GMO and Kush mint strains of fabulously minty bud with an insanely high potency level. Government Oasis is a great choice for any experienced hybrid lover. Like its name suggests, Government Oasis has a sharp, minty flavor accented with sour lemon lime and hints of creamy sage and other savory herbs. The aroma is even more vibrant. I will have to say the aroma was very vibrant when Mrs. Weedman was grinding that. I was in the other room and I'm like, is that the weed we're smoking tonight? And this has a sour minty overtone, accented by spicy gas, sour lemon lime, and a punch of herbal sage. The Government high will hit you full force as soon as you exhale, slamming into your brain with a sense of lifted euphoria that instantly wipes away any bad moods or racing thoughts. Ooh, I like that. You feel happy yet calm, filled with a sense of lightly weighty tranquility that won't leave you feeling too sleepy. A deeply relaxing body high rounds out the experience, helping you to really kick back without any aches or pains. Oh, Mrs. Weedman's going to like this strain. With these effects and the super high THC percentage, Government Oasis is often chosen to treat a variety of conditions, including chronic pain, nausea, appetite loss, chronic stress, or PTSD, and depression or mood swings. And that is Government Oasis, given to us by Midwest Terps and grown by Jim Berry. Thank you for throwing to the cause. We always appreciate fine weed. And Mrs. Weedman, you were grinding this. What'd you say to me when I walked over? And
So sticky.
so sticky, icky. And now I get to smoke. Mrs. Weedman's going to tell you a little bit about 8decades.com.
Yes, head on over to 8decades.com. That is our cannabis lifestyle brand. And there you will find all of our products in our shop. You'll find more information about us and what we do here and what we intend to do with our advocacy. You'll find swag for the Weedman 420 show. And if you sign up for our newsletter, you will be getting free shipping on your first order. So that is 8decades, spelled out EIGHT, decades.com.
I love it. And everybody, like I always said, if you support 8decades.com, we get to pay our Shoddy, the producer. So we thank everybody for supporting 8decades.com and Mrs. Weedman's baby. We appreciate you all out there. This is really nice. Minty. I guess hence Government Mint.
Hey.
Mm-hmm. Nice work, Jim Berry. Nice work. Mrs. Weedman, I'm going to talk about something that everybody does or has to do. Maybe not once a day, maybe every other day, maybe a couple times a week. But we're going to get into some real talk. We're going to talk today about poop.
Oh, great.
And there's this real thing, Mrs. Weedman. It's really real. And it's called poo-phoria.
Do explain.
Poo-phoria. I know it's weird. And low key, I know you it's a good feeling after you take a good poop, right? And it's not in your head. This is science. When you poop, do you understand that your body releases serotonin and dopamine and even natural cannabinoids? So basically, your body's rewarding you for handling some business. So now, here's where it gets a little weird. This all ties up into what they call the brain-gut axis kind of thing, like where you're getting some better gut feeling down there, and it's just your gut is digesting food and it's acting like a second brain. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
No, me neither. So serotonin, though, does help the bowels move through your intestines, and dopamine helps lubricate the exit strategy.
Oh, nice.
Keeping everything
It's all about the lubrication.
keeping everything smooth moves. And those natural cannabinoids, they
That's
help
right.
regulate the whole system.
Hmm.
So your whole body's acting as one, right?
Symbiotic.
Symbiotic poops.
Yeah.
So your body's basically running on like this chemical operation just to make sure you poop efficiently.
Hmm.
Kind of wild.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's not just funny. I think poop is funny, but it's actually kind of important, Ms. Weedman. So it's just not relief we're feeling. Your body's hitting you with that natural high. And when you have a good poop, it's just, ah. If we were on camera right now, you'd see Mrs. Weedman smirk right now and shaking her head. But that's weird. I didn't know that. I did not know that your body produced serotonin and dopamine. I did not. Did you?
No. This is
No.
all new information to me. I'll have to think about that next
Nobody
time.
ever talks about it though. Why?
'Cause it's poop. If you're not, like under 5, chances are you're not telling people about your poop today.
About oh no, poops are funny.
Poop is my farts are funny.
That too.
Poop stinks.
Oh shit! Literally. Uh,
That's funny.
Good weed.
Mhm.
Nice. I'm a little high already. We had a good experience today, though.
Yeah.
We took Ma
we did.
420 out around some of the neighborhood, and we made a stop. Where did we stop at today?
We stopped at Hempstock
Yeah.
Farms. So in Woodstock, Illinois, there's a hemp farm, and they have 2 stores in town. And we finally had a chance to stop in today and check it out.
Yeah, it
So,
was pretty.
very knowledgeable, great experience.
Yeah.
Learned a lot about their products.
Yeah.
And the bud tender, we'll call her, was very well versed and knew a lot about their products and
Knew
what
a
they
lot.
do and
Yeah.
the ingredients and why the ingredients are important. She was very knowledgeable and very
Yeah.
helpful. So it was a really cool experience.
Yeah, we got to try some CBG gummies. We got to smoke some CBG, 17% CBG flour, which was great.
Yep.
That's what I
bought some of that.
I've talked about, like higher. Yeah, that was great.
Mhm.
We tried some non-psychoactive mushroom gummies mixed with some different herbs and different spice, like turmeric and ginger, right? Was in one of them. And we tried a drink that had what kind of berry in it?
I don't even know the.
Sorry, I threw you
I'm
for a
not
loop
gonna.
there.
That'll come back to me.
It's not a blueberry and it's not a
It's
elderberry.
more. It has more antioxidants than even elderberry.
Yes.
It's like 3 times the antioxidants
Yeah, I
of
can't remember
elderberry.
the name of it. Damn it.
Something cock.
Yeah.
Sorry, I remembered that
We talk
part.
about poop. We talk about cock. We talk about farts.
Cat.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. So, but really good experience. It was nice. It was nice. Their gummies were really, really good.
Yeah. Oh, we had gummies. I
Yeah.
had a THCV with CBD gummy.
Yep.
I had a huge hit of CBG on a
So did
vape. I had, I don't know, I had a
Lion's
like
Mane
a
I had a Lion's Mane gummy.
multi mushroom gummy.
Yep.
We came out of there. I'm like, oh fuck, that's CBD, but I'm freaking baked.
CBG, CBD,
Yeah.
Delta 9.
But I mean, I guess I
THC
should
drink?
clarify that was from the hemp plant.
Yeah.
And I was freaking
Yeah,
baked.
we tried.
Yeah.
We experimented today.
It was
and,
fun.
and it was great learning. It was knowledgeable. Mr. Weedman and Mrs. Weedman just sat there, and Ma 420
Took it
we just
in.
sat there and took it in and just let the bud tender speak and talk and tell us about their story. It was great. Cute little farm. Cute little building that we went in, their little work area and shop. So it was pretty dope. So before we get started, I'm gonna read something. There's a Japanese legend that says, if you feel like you're losing everything, remember, trees lose their leaves every year, yet they still stand tall and wait for better days to come. Ready to get the show started?
Yeah.
Let's do this. This one's going to hit a little deep because we're not just talking about getting high. We're talking about losing a whole piece, possibly a whole piece of cannabis culture. According to High Times, traditional hashish. I love traditional hashish. Haven't gotten any from overseas in a very long time. But the old school handcrafted resin that's been around for centuries might actually be disappearing in today's modern market. And the reason? The industry itself. See, for generations, hashish was made by using simple, natural techniques, hand rub, chars, dry sift, stuff coming out of places like Afghanistan, Nepal, and Morocco. This wasn't just product, it was culture, history, craftsmanship passed down through families. But fast forward to today's legal market, and everything has changed. Now it's all about speed, efficiency, and THC numbers. Growers are breeding plants to finish faster, produce higher yields, and hit crazy potency levels. And while that sounds great on paper, it comes at a cost, a big one. We're seeing a loss of diversity in cannabis genetics, meaning a lot of plants that were ideal for traditional hash productions are being pushed out or forgotten entirely. So instead of cultivating plants specifically for resin and hash, the market is flooded with strains designed for flower sales and high THC percentages, which we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
And then there's the production side. Modern concentrates like live rosin, diamonds, and vape oils are dominating shelves. They're easier to scale, easier to brand, and more profitable in a regulated system. Traditional hash, labor intensive, time consuming, and doesn't always fit to strict legal frameworks like lab testing and standardized production. Even in legendary hash markets in regions like Morocco's Rift Mountains, farmers are struggling to keep up. New laws and global demand now require things like lab certifications, traceability, standards that traditional methods were built for. So what happens? Bigger operations with money and tech step in, and the small generational hash makers get pushed out. That's tension right now. Culture versus commercialization. Cannabis is going global, going legal, going mainstream. We got some big news last week here in the U.S. Talk about that a little bit later. But in the process, it risks losing some of its soul. We've spoke a lot about that over the years, about the soul of cannabis. And here's the wild part. This isn't just about nostalgia. Traditional hash isn't just old weed. It's completely different experience, different terpene profiles, different effects, and a deeper connection to the plant's natural chemistry. So if those genetics disappear, that experience disappears with it. Now, there's a bit of hope. Some parts of the market are starting to push back, bringing back solventless techniques, preserving landrace strains, and reintroducing traditional hash styles in modern dispensaries. But it's still a race against time, because once those genetics and those traditions are gone, they're gone. I love Moroccan hash.
Hmm.
Here's a good article. Teen marijuana use is lower now than before legalization. Government study from Minnesota officials shows. Tell us about it, Mrs Weedman.
Yeah, this story comes out of Marijuana Moment, and it's one of those pieces that flips a long-running narrative on its head. For years, opponents of legalization have warned that if cannabis becomes legal, teen use would skyrocket. But new data out of Minnesota is telling a very different story, and honestly, it's pretty eye-opening. According to the statewide government survey, teen cannabis use has actually dropped significantly over time, even after legalization. We're talking about 57.7% decrease in self-reported marijuana use among 8th, 9th, and 11th graders from 2013 to 2025. That's a short amount of time for that large of a decline. That's a massive decline. Back in 2013, about 14.9% of students reported using cannabis in the past year. By 2025, that number fell to just 6.3%. And it's not just yearly use. Monthly use is down too. In fact, about 96% of students said that they had not used cannabis at all in the past month. So despite legalization for adults in Minnesota in 2023, teen usage didn't go up. It kept trending down. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Students today are actually starting to see cannabis as more harmful than they did a few years ago. That's a reversal from earlier trends where perceived risk was dropping. And there's also a big perception gap. A lot of teens think everyone around them is using weed, but the data says otherwise. In 2025, students estimated that over half of their peers were using cannabis. But in reality, only about 92% reported never, I'm sorry, not, let me redo that. In reality, about 92% reported never using it at all. So basically, most kids aren't using it, but everyone thinks the other kids are. So it's kind of wild. Health officials say the data is encouraging, but they're still cautious. They point out that early cannabis use can impact brain development, mental health, and long term outcomes. So education and prevention still matter. But zooming out for a second, this really challenges one of the biggest talking points about legalization. Because if legalization was supposed to lead to more teen use, and instead we're seeing historic declines, it raises a bigger question. Was the fear ever backed by reality, or were we just fed that narrative for years? That's a very good question to ask.
Very good question.
Yeah. Either way, Minnesota's numbers are adding to a growing pile of evidence that legalization doesn't automatically mean more kids are lighting up. And if anything, it might be doing the opposite.
Very
Yeah.
good.
I think that question just kind of is, yeah,
Good one.
it's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah, and also, if you look at the notes in each episode, you will see links to the articles that we read. So we did kind of reformat how I'm delivering my portion of news on the show. I used to actually read through each of my articles. Mr. Weedman would always summarize his articles, and I would read them verbatim. And we were feeling like the show maybe was getting a little bit too lengthy. People would have to listen to it in doses rather than a whole episode. So we've tried scaling back things a little bit.
Summarize. Yeah.
Just summarize. So I'm also summarizing. But we put the articles that we are referring to, the links are in each episode, anywhere that you find your podcast. So
Yeah.
if you want to read the full article, they are accessible.
Yep. Yeah. Shorten it down, make it short and sweet so you get the cliff notes.
Yeah.
Right? I was always good with cliff notes in
Yeah.
high school and college.
And if you guys really liked the reading part, if that is a preference, then just write into us somehow.
Yeah. If you want us to
Send us a DM, and
yeah,
we'll try to work on some other ways of
Yeah.
presenting the information.
go a little bit longer on the
Yeah.
summary,
Yeah.
you know. So but we've gotten trying to dial it into an hour for everybody so you
Yeah.
can listen to it in a full day or something. So but more to come on that. So,
Yeah.
So now let's talk about something that's really shaping the future of cannabis, not just culture, but healthcare. This one comes from the Fresh Toast, and it breaks down why medical marijuana is becoming a serious player in modern medicine. Because let's be real, this ain't fringe anymore. We're talking millions of Americans using cannabis for actual medical reasons. In fact, recent data shows that 23% of the U.S. adults use cannabis in a single year, and around 20% use CBD or hemp products. That's not niche, it's mainstream. And the biggest driver? Patients themselves. People are turning to cannabis to manage real conditions, things like chronic pain, anxiety, sleep issues, nausea, and appetite loss, especially when traditional meds either don't work or come with the heavy side effects. As you know, when we smoke our strain of the show, we tell you the effects. So as you see, sometimes we talked about the strain today, help with chronic pain. People are turning to cannabis to manage real conditions like chronic pain, sleep issues. Those are the two, to me, biggest ones: chronic back pain and sleep.
Mhm.
Right? What would you say is why you turned to cannabis? Besides because I love it and I love the way it makes me feel all around, but there's other there's social reasons why I use it, and then there's medical reasons why I use it.
Same.
Right?
Yeah. Medically for pain, anxiety, sleep, and socially,
Focus.
I just like it. It's great for focus.
Yeah.
It's great for creativity. I mean, yes,
Because we
there's so
love
many
it.
different ways. Well, but there really are so many different ways that
Yeah.
it is beneficial. And there's certain times when it just doesn't work,
Right.
like when you're working and you're doing something really serious that requires
A different type of
a different
concentration.
type of concentration, and you're communicating with clients, that kind of thing. You're in the face of public. Whoa, our dog is wheezing.
Yeah. Wow, Yuki, okay?
The heck? Like there's some strange animal in the
Yuki's
room.
got a little wheeze going on over
Um,
there.
but what was I saying?
We were talking about chronic pain and using
Oh, just
cannabis.
using it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's just so many reasons that once you get familiar with and really understand how the plant makes you feel and different strains make you feel, you start to realize how many ways it can improve your life.
Yes,
So,
100%.
yeah.
Now, here's where it gets a little interesting. People still think medical marijuana is totally different from recreational weed. It's not. Same plant, cannabis sativa. The difference is in how it's used. I thought that was a great point. Medical cannabis is all about precision and balance, often with higher CBD, lower THC, or carefully controlled ratios. That means patients can have target inflammation, pain, or anxiety without getting overly lit. And the delivery matters too. We're not just talking joints. This is tinctures, capsules, measured edibles, stuff designed for consistent dosing like actual medicine. Now let's talk about what it's being used for the most. Chronic pain is number one. No surprise there. But you also have got anxiety and depression, sleep disorders, chemotherapy related nausea, appetite issues. And here's a key point. More patients aren't just treating one thing. Studies show nearly 58% of medical cannabis users are managing multiple conditions at once. Would you say that, Mrs. Weedman?
Mhm.
Yeah, we're multiple conditions,
Yeah.
chronic back pain, and sleep.
Yeah.
um, Studies show nearly 58% of medical cannabis users are managing multiple conditions at once. So this isn't just a single symptom fix. It's more like multi-tool for the body. And that ties into something deeper, the endocannabinoid system. That's your body's built-in network that helps regulate things like mood, pain, sleep, and appetite. Cannabis basically interacts with that system, helps bring the things back into balance. Ooh, I love a good being balanced, right? Which is why it works across so many different conditions. Now, the medical world. It's catching up. There's still some hesitation, especially around mental health, but doctors and researchers are increasingly recognizing cannabis as a legitimate option for things like chronic pain, epilepsy, and chemo symptoms. But they are also saying we need more research. We've been hearing that fucking forever.
Mhm.
Because while the results are promising, the science is still evolving. And that's the space we're in right now. Cannabis is moving from underground to prescription pad, from stigma to standard conversation. And honestly, we're watching a shift in real time where patients are driving the change and the medical system is trying to keep up. And we just have some great news. We heard last week about, cannabis going to Schedule 3, which now we're going to get research done.
Mhm.
And, we've had a lot of research, but there's going to be now case study research and
Yeah.
federal funded research and all this stuff. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So now, because people are using cannabis medically, Mrs. Weedman is going to talk to you a little bit about how to talk to your doctor about cannabis.
Yes.
Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
And I'll preface this with saying that I see a lot of doctors. Many of you know that I see a lot of doctors because we've talked about it a number of times on the show and da 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 da. Da. Old news. Anyway, um, m- I go to a big city hospital, teaching hospital. There's young people, there's old people, there's physicians in every make and model, right? And I've yet to have a conversation with any of them that they understood cannabis. So take this with a grain of salt. I'm starting to wonder if there's a lot of value in your local, having a local doctor. All of my doctors are like specialists at like this major hospital. So I think that these conversations might work better in a more clinical doctor's office setting. That's from my experience, because I'm not getting it. And in the experience I'm having across the board, cannabis, they don't turn their nose up about it. They just don't say anything. They say, "Oh, moving on." Like it's just kind of nothing. White noise. Brrm. Yeah.
With a blank
And I say
stare.
it matter of factly. I don't say it wishy-washy, I just say I use it. Helps me with my pain, helps me with my sleep. What are they going to do, right? Argue with me about
Tell you
it,
not to take it.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They don't really have like obviously they don't object, but they don't support either.
Right.
So, anyway, hopefully if you have conditions and you have a doctor that you'd like to talk to about it, I hope that you have a better experience. So this article comes from Nug MD, and it's something a lot of people don't talk about enough. And that's how to bring up cannabis use with your doctor. Because let's be real, even in 2026, that conversation can feel a little awkward. Not every doctor is fully educated on cannabis, and for a lot of patients, there's still hesitation. Like, are they going to judge me? Are they going to shut me down? Are they actually even going to listen? So, this article breaks things down in a real practical way. First off, transparency is key. If you're using cannabis or thinking about it, you've got to be open with your doctor about it. That includes how often you're using, what type, if you're using THC, CBD, edibles, flower, and why you're using it in the first place. Because here's the thing, cannabis can interact with other medications. We're talking about things like opioids, antidepressants, blood thinners, stuff that a lot of people are already taking. And cannabinoids, like CBD, can actually affect how your liver processes those drugs. So this isn't something you really want to keep off the record, right? Now, on the flip side, not all doctors are cannabis experts. Some are trained, yeah, most are not. Some are trained in it, some aren't. Some are open minded, and some are still stuck in the old school stigmas. So, if your doctor isn't giving you real guidance, it might just be their lack of education on cannabis. And that's why asking the right questions matters. Ask things like, how will cannabis interact with my current medication? What dosage should I start with? What form is best? Tinctures, edibles, flower? And what side effects should I watch for? Because cannabis isn't just a take a hit and see what happens. When you're using it medically, you want it to be part of a real plan, a treatment plan. And that's another big point in this article, that you need to treat cannabis like medicine if you're going to be having this conversation with your doctor about it. Don't just say, yeah, I smoke sometimes. Frame it in a way like I use a measured dose to manage pain and a different dose for my anxiety or my sleep. That shift alone can change how the conversation goes. Also, timing and tone matter. You don't want to bring this up in a rushed or defensive way. Keep it calm, factual, and focus on your health goals, not the culture, not the stigmas. And maybe the most important part, be ready to listen. A lot of doctors who push back aren't trying to shut you down. They're thinking about safety, side effects, or interactions. So hearing them out actually helps you build a better plan. And at the end of the day, the goal here isn't to convince your doctor, it is to work with them. Because whether someone's using cannabis for chronic pain, anxiety, sleep, or just trying to get off heavier pharmaceuticals, the safest way to do it is with real medical guidance. And honestly, as cannabis keeps becoming more mainstream, these conversations, they're just going to become more common.
Good stuff, Mrs.
Yeah.
Weedman. Between both of those articles back to back, it really
Mm-hmm.
like hopefully it helps like you understand that, what medical cannabis is and how to talk to your doctor because it's important.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on medications or if you should know what you can and can't take with certain medications. Like
Yeah.
Mrs. Weedman can't have turmeric
Yeah.
or grapefruit.
Yeah. That's a bummer. I love
You love
grapefruit.
grapefruit. Yes.
Oh.
So it is a bummer. So it's just knowledge is power. Knowing what you need to do for your body and your health is important.
Mm-hmm.
So just hopefully those two articles helped you out there. So political, state, and business news. Marijuana arrests are dropping fast across the U.S. as legalization spreads, but thousands are still being jailed every year in states where it remains illegal. Terrible. The latest report shows a growing divide. Legal states are reducing enforcement while prohibition states continue criminal penalties, highlighting ongoing disparities in how cannabis laws impact communities nationwide. In Arizona, a group is pushing a new ballot measure that would shut down legal cannabis dispensaries statewide. Supporters are currently gathering signatures to get the proposal in front of voters, aiming to reverse legalization. If successful, it could dramatically reshape Arizona's cannabis market and reignite debates over prohibition versus regulated access. Oh my God, it's just terrible hearing this. Like all these states trying to reverse everything. Colorado continues to pull major revenue from marijuana taxes, with funds being directed towards education, public health programs, and infrastructure. I'm cool with that. Since legalization, cannabis dollars have played a key role in supporting schools and community initiatives, showing how regulated markets can generate consistent funding streams beyond just retail sales. If we took the money that Illinois makes on cannabis and put it into our school system, took away the tolls and put it into our road system, so, I mean, $460 million a year We could do a lot with we can get free healthcare in this state with 460 million. Oh man, I don't think, maybe a little more than that. But still, you can help out and
There's things that
there's things you could do instead of giving it to the stuff that the state does. It's brutal. Oh my gosh. So if you want to know what Illinois does with that tax dollars, you can go and look at it. So, and even see if it gets there. Connecticut lawmakers have passed a bill that would remove THC caps in cannabis products, potentially expanding access to stronger formulations. Supporters say it gives consumers more choice and aligns with other legal markets. While critics raise concerns about potency and safety, the move reflects an ongoing shift toward loosening restrictions in established cannabis states. A new federal bill introduced by Senator Ted Budd aims to track how marijuana use may impact medical spending. The proposed would require federal agencies to study healthcare costs tied to cannabis, adding another level to an ongoing debate over legalization and its potential effects on public health systems. California Cannabis Distributors, Nabis, is expanding rapidly, positioning itself as a major player in the state's supply chain. The company has built strong logistics network connecting brands and retailers, highlighting how infrastructure and distributions are becoming just as important as cultivation in today's cannabis industry. A new national poll shows about 6 out of 10 Americans now support legalizing marijuana, reflecting a continued shift in public opinion. Support has grown steadily across different age groups and political affiliations, signaling that legalization is becoming more mainstream and widely accepted as more states move toward regulated cannabis markets. California lawmakers have approved a measure allowing cannabis dispensaries to operate drive-through services. The change is aimed at improving convenience and accessibility for consumers, similar to fast food or pharmacy models. If fully implemented, it could reshape the retail experience and modernize how cannabis is sold in the state. Top House Democrat says Congress now has enough votes to pass federal marijuana reform, signaling potential movement at the national level. While no timeline is locked in, the statement suggests growing bipartisan support, raising expectations that long-stalled cannabis legalization could finally see progress in the near future. I want to go reverse one to California doing their drive-through service, and I know Illinois is fighting for that too. I grew up in Florida, and there used to be drive-through liquor stores that were the size of this room, and you would drive up, order, and drive away. One person worked that store. I would just want to do that and be that guy in the store with just cannabis and have a drive-through. And people pull up and I'd be in the Weedman costume going, "Hey, how you doing over here? I got weed for all," right? But it would be dope. That's all you would need. You make a fucking killing. You can make a good living, a fucking great living. Would just have a single easy liquor style drive-through. Oh my gosh. Can I have a license to do that, please? The Department of Justice have announced a move to reschedule marijuana under federal law, making a major shift in how cannabis is classified. The decision follows months of review and could ease restrictions on research and business operations, though it stops short of full legalization, keeping cannabis regulated at the federal level. New GOP-led legislation would require federal agencies to study hospital costs linked to marijuana use. Supporters say it's about understanding public health impacts, while critics argue it could reinforce negative narratives around cannabis. The bill adds to ongoing debate in Washington over how legalization intersects with healthcare and economic policy. So, Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
Passing the joint over to you.
All right. Back over here with some political, state, and business news, starting off with American farmers. They produced about $739 million worth of legal hemp last year, according to a new USDA report. The numbers show steady growth in the hemp industry, driven by demand for CBD, fiber, and grain products. Despite regulatory challenges, hemp continues to be a major part of the broader cannabis economy. An Iowa gubernatorial
You got a hard word
candidate is pushing to legalize marijuana, adding cannabis reform to the state's political conversation. The proposal aims to regulate and tax cannabis similar to other states, potentially generating revenue and reducing criminal penalties. It reflects growing pressure, even in traditionally conservative states, to reconsider marijuana laws. Illinois officials announced continued growth in the state's legal cannabis market, highlighting strong sales and ongoing efforts to expand equity and opportunity. The state remains focused on balancing economic growth with social justice initiatives, reinforcing its position as one of the more established and evolving cannabis markets in the Midwest. Virginia lawmakers have rejected the governor's proposed changes to a bill that would establish legal marijuana sales. The move keeps the legislation closer to its original form, signaling continued momentum toward creating a regulated retail market, even as disagreements remain over how cannabis should be sold and controlled. Connecticut's House has approved legislation to remove THC caps on cannabis products, potentially opening the market to higher potency options. Supporters argue it aligns with consumer demand and modern cannabis standards, while critics raise concerns about safety. The bill reflects broader trends toward loosening restrictions in legalized states. A new congressional bill would allow state agencies to provide marijuana for research, backed by $150 million in funding. The goal is to expand scientific studies and improve understanding of cannabis's effects. If passed, it could significantly boost research efforts that have long been limited by federal restrictions. A new poll shows that 6 out of 10 Americans support legalizing marijuana, highlighting a steady shift in public opinion. Support spans across different demographics and political groups, signaling that cannabis legalization continues to gain mainstream acceptance as more states adopt regulated markets. Illinois is set to adjust its cannabis occupation tax rates starting July 1st, which could impact pricing for consumers and revenue for the state. The changes are part of ongoing efforts to refine the legal market, balancing taxation with competitiveness against the illicit market. GOP lawmakers are proposing hemp related amendments to the federal farm bill that would maintain legal sales of certain THC products. The move aims to clarify federal rules and protect parts of the hemp industry as lawmakers continue to debate how cannabis derived products should be regulated nationwide. North Carolina's cannabis market is being described as the Wild West, with a booming multi-billion-dollar hemp and THC industry operating in a legal gray area. Concerns are growing over regulation, safety, and enforcement as lawmakers face increasing pressure to establish clearer rules for the rapidly expanding market.
Yeah, wipe out $1 billion industry in North Carolina. Watch,
Mhm.
so stupid.
New federal action on marijuana policy is raising questions in Wisconsin about what comes next for the state. While changes at the federal level could ease restrictions, Wisconsin still faces its own legislative hurdles. The situation highlights how federal shifts don't always translate into immediate change at the state level. And that is it for me, Mr. Weedman. It's back over to you.
Thank you, Mrs. Weedman. Veterans are calling for fewer restrictions on researching marijuana and psychedelics, saying current federal rules slow progress on treatments for PTSD, chronic pain, and mental health conditions. Advocates argue expand research access can unlock new therapies as more veterans push to alternatives to traditional medications and often come with heavy side effects. Federal marijuana rescheduling is back in the spotlight, tied into broader political discussions and legal developments. While the move could ease restrictions and expand research, it also raises questions about how past cannabis convictions are handled. The situation highlights the complex intersection of policy reform, criminal justices, and evolving legal status of marijuana. A growing debate is happening inside dispensaries over tipping culture, with some workers relying heavily on tips while others question the model altogether. Critics say it creates inconsistent income and pressure on customers, while supporters argue it rewards good service. The issue reflects broader challenges as cannabis retail continues to mature. Missouri governor has signed a bill banning certain hemp-derived THC products, aligning with potential federal moves to tighten regulations. The decision could significantly impact business selling these products. While supporters say it's about safety and clarity, critics argue it may limit access and push consumers back toward unregulated markets. A new poll in Utah shows a slim majority of voters now support legalizing recreational marijuana. While the margin is narrow, it signals shifting attitudes in a traditionally conservative state. The result could influence future policy discussions as lawmakers weigh public opinion against existing restrictions on cannabis use. Texas lawmakers are continuing to debate rules around smokable hemp, THC products. As the market grows rapidly under existing laws, the situation is creating confusion over legality and enforcement. With businesses operating in the gray area, officials are now under pressure to clarify regulation as demand for hemp-derived products increases. 1 second, everybody. Throat was getting a little scratchy. A New Jersey man is accused of making up to $20,000 a day through illegal marijuana vending machines, according to prosecutors. Good for you for taking on a business venture like that and making some money until someone ratted on you. The case highlights ongoing challenges with unregulated cannabis sales, even in legal states. Authorities say enforcement remains a priority as the legal market continues to compete with underground operations. Advocates say federal marijuana rescheduling could help end discrimination against medical cannabis patients in housing, healthcare, and employment. This shift may lead to broader protections and normalized cannabis use in regulated settings. Supporters argue it's a necessary step to aligning federal policy with realities of legal cannabis use. Tennessee governor has signed a bill halting the state's review of medical marijuana legalization. Of course he did, even as federal policy continues to shift. The move pauses potential progress on cannabis reform within the state, showing how local leadership can still slow legalization efforts despite broader national momentum. And that being said, I read it in the beginning of my political state business news. We did go Schedule 3. It's not all done yet. It's not all roses and puppy dog tails and candy and ice cream yet. It's not where we want to be, but it's not where we used to be. And it's only medical that's on the Schedule 3. Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
That recreational is still Schedule 1.
It's the same drug.
It's the same plant. It's just really weird that they just make it silly. I tell you, it's fucking silly. Really. It's just I'm proud that that we've taken one step. And just hear me out real quick. Every state goes medical first, right? So we put medical cannabis on Schedule 3. Every state starts off with medical, and then a couple years later, or unless you're like Oklahoma or a couple states that are still just straight medical, it's going to take maybe another 10 more years before they go rec. But it's a start from where we were from 1970. When the scheduling came, when Nixon's presidency defined different drugs as schedules. And since 1937, when fucking Harry Asslinger fucked it all up for all of us, and the Marijuana Tax Act, you're looking at it that we're getting closer to hopefully one day that it being descheduled and treated like tobacco and alcohol. But actually, I think it should be on a higher pedestal than them too, because they actually kill people. Cannabis doesn't. How do you feel about it, Mrs. Weedman? Let me get hit of that J.
I think like many, the concern is that they do this rescheduling and it changes some things. It allows banking to happen. It allows some laws to be put in place. It allows further research and bigger research to happen faster. So there's benefits to it. But many people, myself included, worry that now that they reschedule, we'll never get to legalization. Because it's going to take it off the plate. It's going to be like, oh, we gave you something already. It's kind of like they're like pacifying us,
right.
And it's really not effectively making the plant more accessible.
They may pass the MORE Act now, which will help. If they do that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes from here. It's a start. Am I happy about it? I got a smile on my face about it. Businesses will be able to, medical businesses will be able to now use 280E write-offs and stuff. I have a feeling though pharmacies are going to want to get in the game, and that's what kind of scares me a little bit. So I'm not kind of crazy about that. So, but here's another thing Mrs. Weedman's going to talk to you about. How does marijuana rescheduling affect cannabis companies now?
Yeah.
Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah. This next story comes out of MJ Biz Daily, and it's all about what's really happening right now with the marijuana rescheduling and how it's actually affecting cannabis companies. Because on paper, rescheduling cannabis from 1 to Schedule 3 sounds like a massive win for the industry, but in reality, it's more complicated. Right now, companies are kind of in this transition phase, figuring out what this shift actually means for their day-to-day operations. Some operators are already making moves. We're seeing businesses ramp up investments in research and development, especially on the medical side, because Schedule 3 opens the door for more legit clinical studies and pharmaceutical-style products. Others are focusing on expansion strategies, getting ready for a future where federal regulations might loosen up even more. But here's the catch. Rescheduling doesn't equal legalization. Cannabis is still federally illegal for adult use, and that means a lot of the same problems are still hanging around, like banking restrictions, limited interstate commerce, and a patchwork of state by state rules. Now, one of the biggest potential wins people talk about is taxes. Under Schedule 1, cannabis companies get hit hard by IRS Code 280E, which basically blocks them from writing off normal business expenses. Rescheduling could ease that burden, but not for everyone, and not evenly across the board. So, rescheduling helps, but it's not a magic fix. And that's why you're seeing a mix of optimism and caution across the industry. Some companies are preparing for stricter federal standards, things like product quality, safety regulations, and compliance that look more like traditional pharmaceutical or consumer packaged goods industries. Others are looking at partnerships, especially in research and healthcare, to get ahead of where the markets might go next. Meanwhile, investors had a moment of hype when the news first dropped, but that cooled off pretty quickly once people realized how limited the changes actually are. So, where does this leave the industry right now? Basically, in limbo, but moving forward. Rescheduling is a big step. It legitimizes cannabis more than ever at the federal level, especially medically. But it's not the finish line. Companies still have to navigate a weird gray area where cannabis is recognized, but not fully accepted. And until things like federal legalization, banking reform, and interstate commerce get addressed, the industry is still playing the game on hard mode.
Pretty
Yep.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right on the money. We
Mhm.
kind of all feel the same, you know?
Yep.
I mean, international news. Ecuador has officially opened a legislative debate on regulating adult use cannabis after a citizen-led proposal cleared its first hurdle. The initiative doesn't legalize marijuana yet, but it moves the conversation into formal government decisions. Lawmakers will now review a framework that can include regulated sales, homegrown, and cannabis clubs under state oversight. Public opinion in the United Kingdom remains divided on cannabis legalization, with recent polling showing a near even split between support and opposition. Younger people tend to favor legalization while older groups leans toward prohibition. The data highlights the country still debating its direction, with no clear consensus of whether cannabis should be legal, decriminalized, or remain illegal. Cape Town is planning Africa's first cannabis museum, aiming to reshape how the plant history is understood across the continent. The project will focus on cultural heritage, education, and traditional knowledge, highlighting cannabis beyond prohibition narratives. Organizers say the museum will explore its economic and historical impact while helping shift public perception through research-based exhibits. Like they sent me an email. Someone sent me an email about going there, and like, did I get my plane ticket yet? I was like, "Are you paying for it?" Hell yeah, I'd go, but send me a plane ticket and a place to stay,
And then I'll go.
and then I'll go. But I would. You would go, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Sri Lanka's authorities detained 22 Buddhist monks at the country's main international airport after discovering more than 240 pounds of cannabis hidden in their luggage. The Sri Lankan, the Buddhists, man, 240 pounds of cannabis hidden in their luggage. You can't get away with that shit. You can't get away with that shit anymore, monks. This ain't like fucking 60s and 70s where there was
crazy.
no, like, you just go right through, you know? There's... 240.
Oh, I could bring this through in my suitcase. They'll never know.
It is 22 monks. Each divide 240 by 22.
It's like they each brought in
How many
100
pounds?
pounds.
No, 22 monks divided by 240 pounds.
Oh, 240
Yeah.
pounds, 22 monks.
Yeah. Hold on a second, everybody.
10 pounds each?
Yeah, I think so. 240 divided by 22.
9.
10.9 pounds
10.9.
each. 22 monks carrying 10 pounds each. It's not like they were carrying like a pound each and you could hide it.
And like one after another. Imagine. You're like, oh,
240
no.
fucking pounds.
Oh my God, another
Are you
one.
Fucking because you thought they were monks?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Like,
wonder.
no one's going to judge
Did they
them.
tuck it in like their because don't they wear like big garments and something when
Yeah.
they travel? Then like did they have
Under
it all
their-
tucked underneath
under
their
their
gowns
hood.
and whatever they're called? 10
Dang.
pounds each.
Crazy.
10.9 pound.
Crazy.
It's I love you, monks. I think it's great. New data from Australia shows medical cannabis sales dropped nearly 30% in the second half of 2025, raising questions about market stability. Analysts point to shifting regulations, supply chains and evolving patient access as possible factors. Decline highlights how even established medical markets can face volatility as the industry continues to mature globally. Singapore has executed a ban for cannabis importation. Executed. 240 monks get popped. 22 monks get popped with 240 pounds, and they're going to go to jail probably. But one dude has a little bit of weed on him, and he gets fucking executed because they have a strict no-tolerance drug policy. The case comes amid a rise in drug-related executions, drawing international criticism from a human rights group. The situation highlights the stark contrast in global cannabis laws, where some countries expand legalization while others enforce harshest penalties. Harshest penalties? You fucking killed somebody. You murdered.
Murder.
I mean, no one deserves to die for weed.
Right.
Many people have, and still many people are incarcerated for weed.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely ridiculous to murder anybody. Isn't that one of the 10 Commandments?
Right.
You murdered a man for weed. A new study from the UK suggests cannabis use may have a little or to no impact of the next workday performance for many users. Researchers found no significant cognitive differences between users and non-users when tested 12 to 15 hours later, challenging assumptions about lingering impairment. The finds add to growing evidence that off-duty cannabis use doesn't necessarily affect productivity the following day. Yeah, we know. I go to work every day. I get up every morning, I do my shit, and I sleep peacefully. Right, Ms. Weedman?
Right, Mr. Weedman.
So tell us, the most important people in this cannabis industry.
Yeah.
Who are they?
The bud tenders.
The bud tenders. The most important people. I've been saying it for I've been saying it for longer than that. But on this show for 7 years, the bud tenders are the most important people in the industry. They make or break a brand. Don't ever forget that. They are the final destination of where weed goes to the person who is buying it. They are the plug of the new world order. Okay. They are the most important people in the industry. Take care of them. Okay. So, but Mrs. Weedman said there's some weird questions that some people ask out there in the world.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
We're not really going to get to the questions, all of them anyway. But again, check our article links when you read what this episode is about. So this is from Green State. So we're going to wrap things up with this article. This is one of those stories that anybody who's ever stepped foot in a dispensary is going to appreciate. Bud tenders. They've heard everything, right? And I mean everything. This article dives into some of the weirdest, funniest, and straight up confusing questions customers ask when they walk up to the counter. And honestly, it's a reminder that cannabis is still new territory for a lot of people.
My favorite question right now I'm reading is, when is 420? My 420 would be pissed right now if she heard that line.
One of the big themes, people really don't understand how weed works. Bud tenders report getting questions like whether cannabis can be flavored naturally like fruit, or if certain strains can do specific things like instantly knock you out or give you a laser focus like it's some sort of superpower. And then there's the confusion around products. Some customers will walk in asking for things that don't even exist, or mixing up totally different categories, like expecting flour to work exactly like edibles, or asking if you can turn one product into another on the spot. If that is the classic scenario where legalization expanded access, but education didn't keep up. And another big one, dosage and potency misunderstandings. Bud tenders say people fixate on THC percentages like it's the only thing that matters, chasing the highest number without understanding terpenes, effects, or even tolerance. So you'll get someone asking for the strongest thing you got, but with zero context of what kind of experience they actually want. And that's where things get tricky, because a good bud tender isn't just there to sell. They're trying to guide people to something that actually fits their vibe, whether that's chill, creative, pain relief, or sleep. But maybe the funniest part of this whole thing is just how random some of the questions can get. We're talking off the wall, out of pocket stuff that has bud tenders standing there like, wait, what? And it's not even always about cannabis. It's people bringing in assumptions, myths, or just straight curiosity that hasn't been filtered yet. But here's the real takeaway from the article. Bud tenders, they're not judging. If anything, they expect the weird questions because at the end of the day, cannabis is still being normalized and people are learning in real time. And honestly, asking questions, even the weird ones, is part of the process. And if you think about it, every experienced smoker today was once the person who was asking, wait, how does this even work?
Some of the questions are
Yeah.
pretty good, though. When is
Yeah.
420 was a good one. Is this going to smell like weed?
No, why would that happen?
I want to feel high, but I don't want to look high. This one I get. I understand it. For a newbie, really a newbie. What's a strain?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you sell weed? Can I give this to my dog? Not weird. I get it.
Yeah.
I want an indica that won't make me sleepy.
Okay. There's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need something that will make me clean my fucking house. Oh, budtenders, I love you. I get to meet a lot of you out there, and I appreciate the hell out of you. And I love bringing you treats and delights, and stopping in and popping in and saying hi. Love you all out there. You're the best people in the world. You make this journey with me and cannabis a lot more fun on the streets because I'm a street rat. I'm your street rat. Never forget that, budtenders. All right, Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
I'd like to first thank Jim Berry and Midwest Terps for this really good
pleasant,
strain.
really pleasant strain. I like it.
I can't. This is nice. Really good. Really good smell, too. So nice job, Jim Berry. Appreciate you doing to the cause. Midwest Terps, I love you. Ms. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
You got anything else to say before we go?
I am going to light that joint back up. And everybody have a splendid week.
I love it.
Get high.
Hey, all you burner stoners and potheads out there, keep your head up. Go out there and love some life. Go out there and have some fucking fun. It's fucking spring. Even though we live in Illinois and we get fake spring, it's 70, 80 one day and it goes down to the 40s the next. It's still fine. Because you know what? In about 4 more weeks, right around Memorial Day comes, it's going to be beautiful. And life is good. It might be shitty sometimes, but always forget the turnaround happens and life is good. We love you out there. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puff, and away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome, long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.